Okay, now we'll continue with the next page. Here it says, how does a computer work? So how does a computer work? It works in the process of input, process, output cycle. So these are the three important words: input, process, output. Okay. So as mentioned earlier, a computer works on the input, process, output cycle. This means that a computer needs an input device. It needs an input device. So we'll deal with what is an input device later on. To accept, the computer needs input device to accept input, a processing device to process the input, and an output device to display the output. Okay. So when you talk about input device, there is the keyboard. Remember I told you keyboard, the mouse. So if you want to write your name, how will you write your name? So if you look at the keyboard, on the keyboard you will find alphabets. So if you look at those alphabet keys, with the help of those alphabets you can write your name. So what you are giving, you are typing your name. You are typing your name. Okay, you are typing your name, that is your input. You are giving some inputs to the computer. You are typing some information. Okay, that is your input. So the keyboard is your input device. Okay. So next, whatever input you give, the computer has to process. Same way while making a juice, while making a mango juice. What we needed was mango. What we needed was a grinder and a glass. Okay, so your mango pieces, the mango was your input. Those mango pieces, you put it inside the grinder, the mixie grinder. The grinding takes place, that is your process. So mango keyboard is your input. So whatever information you give, that is your input. So the CPU processes. Okay, the CPU processes. So that the CPU will be your processing device. So whatever you type, where do you see? Whatever you write your name, you type your name, it comes on the monitor. So monitor is your output device. Okay, got it? Keyboard, input device. CPU does the processing, that is the processing device. The result, whatever you type, it comes on the monitor, that is your output device. Okay. So if you look at this image, the first input. Input is given in the form of letters. Your name, your writing letters, symbols, @ ampersand. Okay, those are symbols. And with the help of clicks. So with the help of clicks means, what do you use to click? You use a mouse. So mouse is also an input device. It is given to the computer through a keyboard or mouse. So keyboard and mouse are your examples of input devices. And processing. Process, input, process. Processing takes place in the CPU. So all your processing takes place in the CPU. And if you want to add 5 and 9, so with the help of the keyboard, you write 5 plus 9. Okay, when you write 5 plus 9, on the monitor, you will see 5 plus 9, 14. Okay, so that calculation code, the calculation thing, the CPU does it. The CPU does the calculation. That is called the processing. Processing takes place in the CPU. As I have told you, CPU is also called the brain of the computer. CPU works includes processing, input calculations, comparison, solving problems, controlling flow of data, producing output and sending it to the correct device for display. So what does this last line say? Sending it to the correct device for display. Now there are plenty of output devices. One output device, example of output device is your monitor. So you type 9 plus 5. equals to, so on the monitor you will find 9 plus 5 equals to 15. Sorry, 14. 9 plus 5 equals to 14. Okay, you see the answer. So the answer is on the, it comes up on the monitor. So monitor is your output device. Say for example, you want to listen to a music. You want to listen to a music. So with the help of the mouse, you go to the machine, the computer, you click on one song. You click on the song, double click on it. So you cannot hear the song on the monitor. You cannot hear the song on the monitor. So where do you hear the song? On the speaker. On the speaker. So your speaker is also your output device. It's giving you some output. Okay. So example of output device will be your monitor, your speaker. Okay. The songs which you listen to, it does not come on the monitor, you can listen it through the speaker. Okay. So let us take an example. Your example, input. It says typing 2 plus 3. How do you type? With the help of the keyboard. So keyboard is your input device. Processing. So while the addition process takes place, it takes place inside the CPU box. So CPU is your processing device. So where do you see the result? On the monitor. So